What up, everybody? This your boy, Bill Bellamy, and this is Top Billin', the #1 podcast for the culture, the movement, and the discussion. All the people, when you listen in and you tune in, you know we love music. We love breaking artists. We love putting people on that's in this game, that's riding the wave. My special guest today is D.Smoke, representing Inglewood, California. You might have seen him make his breakout performance on Rhythm and Flow 2019 on Netflix. And from there, he has not looked back. Track after track after track. Videos, he's coming, music, the boy is talented. I'm diving in. We tapping in to my crew. Let's welcome to Top Billin', D.Smoke!
Hey, we here.
Yo, man, you are so talented, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Let me take you on my Bill Bellamy discovery of D.Smoke.
Okay.
First and foremost, obviously Netflix. That was like, okay, new cat, boom, 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 whatever. Won that, stood out, bam. But then the follow-up, the consistency of your music every time, the message is super dope. The energy's right. Where you going with the vibes, you know, you change up, you smooth. You over here, you kind of got a vibe, a bop. You back over here with the message. I think the culture needs you right now.
Hey,
you in the right place at the right time. Welcome to Top Billin'.
Hey,
Let's go.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, man, listen. I love your music, bro. I'm like, we need this. I always hear, like, when I watch other podcasts, because I'm always, you know, checking out interviews and things of that nature, substance is what we're lacking in the music.
Mm-hmm.
This is not you.
No.
This is not what we're talking about. You are really amazing with your pen, bro. Like, your pen game is immaculate.
Thank you.
Wordplay. I'm old school, you know, I guess, in this era of hip hop where I was always a fan of lyrics.
For sure.
You know, because I feel like lyrics are like music in themselves, because the way you put your words together, how you slow up, speed up, how you rhyme, you know, all those things that you do very, very well is very nostalgic to me of, you know, Biggie. Like, Biggie was one of those guys that, like, just, he could just make one word be so melodic. Black and ugly as ever, however. Like it was just like, Right. So that kind of cadence, that kind of like ear, you have all of those things. How did you develop that? Because I understand you grew up in a gospel family.
Man, I certainly did.
Yes.
So my roots are in the church.
Okay.
You know, so when I write rhymes, I'm hearing rhythms. You know, I play drums, I play keys.
Okay.
And so like, drummers will be the first to tell me, like, I could tell you play drums.
Yeah.
But how you write, you know what I'm saying? How I play with cadences, and, you know.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs that I think, because I didn't put it on an album, I just released it.
Okay.
I have this song called Smoke with Me. And so that in that song I play with rhythms in a way that drummers are like, bro, this one is the one.
Yeah.
And so, but I like to have fun. You know, my influences in music did exactly that too. And you can tell, you know, that they, beyond writing raps, they are students of music. Correct. You know, if you listen to old Outkast records, you have so many live instruments woven throughout those projects, like, and voices. And so there's composition happening underneath rap. If you look at Dr. Dre's history, like, he's a student of music. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So everything around what he produces is a level up from beat making. You know what I'm saying?
Way deeper.
It's
than
way
just
bigger.
making.
You know, and if I've worked with Dre, and so being in with Dre, it's like, to have those musicians in the room and everyone at his disposal, it changes the process. So for me as a rapper, it's always been about music, like, always. Mm-hmm. You know, and so you said, you know, before we started filming, you know, you'd hate to be in a cypher with me.
Oh,
but, like, I
don't want that smoke.
I don't even, you know, I write, like, my favorite rapper of all times is Andre 3000. And I don't think we've ever seen him in a competitive space like that. And even Nipsey Hussle said, when you put yourself in a competitive mindset, you're already measuring yourself by somebody else. So you're limiting your unique contribution to what music is. So I'm not competitive. The hardest part of Rhythm and Flow for me was going face to face with somebody, because it's like, man, I don't want to attack this man. Like, I'm from Inglewood.
Smoke, bro.
Oh, he had to. He had
That's
to
why
get to
you
work.
D.Smoke, man. Cats got to get that smoke, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm literally traditional hip hop,
Mhm.
traditional old school lyrics. You know, guys getting into cipher, seeing wordplay. Cats clever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like clever lyrics where you go like, oh,
But you
like
from the East Coast, though,
Jersey.
right?
Yeah, I'm from Jersey. So I grew up in
Right.
the New York, Jersey. You know,
Right.
I thus the new Yankee. Every time I get a new one, I gotta pop it on because it
Boom.
feel like I got a new haircut or something when you get a new fitted, right?
There you go.
But getting to your music, it's like it's nostalgic for me because it's back to the hip hop. It's
Absolutely.
back to the messaging of what you want to say, how you illustrating this love story or this struggle, or you being in a dark place and getting to the light. Those kind of messages is what I feel that we need in this culture, in our music, because a lot of times, man, we don't know how to express ourselves.
For sure.
And I feel like, especially Black males, I feel, or minority male men, we are able to express ourselves through what we hear. Cause we'll be in the car like, yo, man, that's so me. You know, we won't even tell nobody we going through the struggle or what we're
Right.
going through, but we're hearing in the music. Be like, yo, I think my man wrote that song for me, man.
Like,
yo.
this one got
And
me
that's what
too.
you do for people.
Oh, thank you.
How did you realize that this is what I want to do with my music? It's not only going to be amazing music, but it's going to be purposeful.
I just know what effect music had on me as a kid, right? Like I grew up in a strict household. Mom and dad, both ministers.
You are not using no foul language.
Oh
in
no.
here.
Oh no.
No.
So
no.
My uncle, when Moms was out on tour, and my uncle, who's only 6 years older than me, when I was 6 years old, he put me up on, with so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D.O. double, right? But we had to sneak and listen to it, right? So
you had to put on the gospel and put Snoop behind it, right?
Come on, man, 2 pairs of headphones.
Hell yeah.
But no, but so music had a purpose. It always had a purpose, Even in listening to the Snoop and Corrupt, when I did get to high school and they couldn't really monitor what I was listening to, that's when I started catching a bus everywhere throughout LA. And the music started to explain what I would see, right? So LA is basically set up on a grid, right?
Correct.
So when you're going, almost all the streets either run north and south or east and west.
Period.
It's not diagonal. The only diagonal street is San Vicente. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So even the freeway. So in doing so, when you live in LA and you're driving through LA, you're driving through hoods. Like, okay, now we in the Hoovers. We keep heading east. Now we in the Brams. Or you know what I'm saying? So when I was listening to Snoop and Corrupt and all that, it was teaching me about gang culture and the mentality of the people that I'm going to school with and all that.
Right.
When I was a kid, it was giving me a strong spiritual foundation to where I knew that I had a purpose, I'm loved, all these things. When it was Outkast, it was showing me like, okay, I don't have to choose between my spiritual side, my intellectual side, and my hood side. So that balance, exactly, that balance for me was like, okay, that's where I found my identity. I was the straight A student in Chuck Taylors and a hoodie. I was, you know what I'm saying? I was, 1,400 on the SAT,
right?
But going to the boxing gym and putting hands on
them.
You know what I'm saying? Putting a pause on them, like. And so, but it was the music that told me that that's acceptable. Big Boy and Outkast, like, and it's dope. What I always say when I'm talking about them is that we have Andre 3000 because we have Big Boy.
Yeah.
Right? If we look at J. Cole, if we look at Kendrick Lamar, they have elements of both.
Absolutely.
Right? They dark and light, but Big Boy took on I'm street, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Intentionally so that Andre can go straight poetry.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Big Boy, he'll hit you with my name Big Boy, Daddy Fat Sacks, a nigga that like them Cadillacs. I stay down with the streets because the streets is where my folks at. Better know that. Some say we pro-black, but we professional. I missed a lot of church, so the music is our confessional. Get off the testicles and the nut sacks. You bust rhymes, we bust gas. Like, he's straight down that pipe.
Hard line,
and then after that, Andre come in, my mind walks to me and meet the twin Andre being welcome to the Lion's Den. Original sin, many men comprehend. I extend myself so you go out and tell her. He can be that artistic because, you know,
it's
you
that
have
balance,
that
it's that
contrast.
yin and the yang of it. And here's the beauty of, since you brought up Outkast, right? I'm on MTV at this time, and I'm literally introducing Outkast to the world.
Dope.
And we had never seen anything like Outkast at that time. And there was a moment in music where the South was just producing all these different artists, right? And I just remember going, wow, how are they doing this like hip hop, pop, rocket, little pop thing with this Southern swag to it, to everybody? Because you got to think about songs like hush that push, everybody go to the back of the bus. Like nobody had ever made no music like this before. But the eclectic, the music, back to what you're saying, under it, the composition of the music, the cadence, like you said earlier, you were saying the drums and all the stuff. That's what I love about our music. There's no ceilings. It's about creativity. And so when I start listening to your music, I got excited. And just when you walked into the studio, I was just like, man, we need you in this game. We need artists that are smart, that have a real strong music bloodline. And that now it gives you so many things to just sprinkle on your music.
Absolutely.
It makes a beautiful pie.
Absolutely. Man, I want to make music that is necessary. You know what I'm saying? It's enough unnecessary ass music.
Right.
You know, my former rapping partner, rest in peace, his name was Chiz. And so when I got into rap, I more so was focused on producing and writing hooks. And he was the rapper, and we was a rap duo.
Right.
And so, but he had a song where he was like, man, I think niggas should hate more. Like I think niggas should just be like, that shit whack, bro. You know, I think haters should go harder. Like, nigga, why are we
hate
not
harder, cuz?
Hey, nigga, blood, let's do it. Like,
right.
So it's but you know, because I think people have a inner gauge of what's dope or not.
Yeah.
You know, but then when the world kind of leans toward whatever's popular, you don't want to miss out. Like the FOMO age, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to miss this trend. I don't want it to go by me. Then I feel lost in social circles. Then you start accepting stuff that's just trash. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, I think everything has its place. Everything has its place, and you know, when our taste develops, right? But then again, you know, it's that balance of being like, all right, what is this doing? You can't eat fries and ketchup 3 times a day, 7 days a week, because you're gonna have a tummy ache. You feel me? So
it's not gonna feed you.
No, not at all. So,
but this is an interesting thing that when I was listening to you, that I wanted to bring it to your point, is that quality, right? And sometimes it takes longer to do quality.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And you know, sometimes people go on a trend, like you said earlier, and that you pop real fast, and then you know, and then you're not 2 summers from now, nobody's talking about you.
Right.
But if I look at guys like Kendrick, I look at guys like J. Cole, who are authentic artists, who are in their own lane to me, where they didn't switch up on you.
Right.
They just stay true to who they are.
Absolutely.
And then people come to you. I feel like that's what you are. Like, you are authentically D.Smoke. You bring it from the heart. It comes across in your music in a real way. Like, you touching people through your music. I don't think you have to do anything but do you.
For sure.
Because if a guy like me, who's a fan of music, could get you in the first 2 bars and like know what this is, and it's like going to a club and every song they play is your song.
Smack.
That's what I feel when I listen to your music. Like, oh, I'm good, bro. I could take my shoes off and I can listen to this whole and trust the whole album. And that takes time. Like, you know, for a guy to compose your music, put everything together, and be able to put something together that I can enjoy as a music lover, to me, it's a marriage of the artist and the fan. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
And how do you feel now that you're buzzing for real the way you want? What are you hearing from the fans that they love most about your music?
Man, what I get a lot, it's a couple things that people say that I take as a high compliment, right?
Okay.
people don't always say like, "Hey man, you're a dope rapper."
Mhm.
Like, people be like, "I love your art." You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they take the time out to understand it as such and have already thought about it, like how they how they frame what it is that I'm doing,
Right.
and you know that means a whole lot to me because it when you call it art, it speaks to the level of thought and intention behind it. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Not all music is art, you know, and so but it all serves a purpose. I turn up too, you know, but you know, so that's a high compliment, and then when people be like, "Hey, bro, you different," you know what I'm saying? So
Bro,
that's a high
that
compliment. So
is
that's
true.
and I came in it to be different. You
Mhm.
know, I came into music to stand out. You know, Chance the Rapper said something on Rhythm and Flow. He was like, he told another artist, he was like, bro, if I turned off the beat and just read your lyrics, it's still supposed to say something, bro. It's still supposed to at least add up. Not necessarily, it don't have to be preachy,
Right.
but it should add up.
It
You
should
know what
add
I'm
up.
saying? Like, and so, you know, and Jay-Z even said he was like, you know, before rap was with these, no, before crack was with these pills, I was a real star, complete with real cars. You could come and set up the camera, let the video run. Like the reason I am who I am on camera is because prior to whatever people view as my big break, like I had done work that I was proud of.
Already.
You know, outside of music. Like in the classroom, in education, I was a director of a outreach program that's, you know, providing educational services and getting kids in college. Similar to like, you know, Cole's story and people who have had their feet in the community,
Yeah.
you know, and had
Grassroots.
respect. And, you know, I had applied to a PhD program and like so all kind of things is just like, you know, my identity isn't based on whether or not this music amounts to what other people view as success.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you already, in my opinion, you're already successful.
Thank
All you're doing is getting people to come to your page.
For sure.
Because I think that what you've written, it's almost like your artistry is like this amazing novel, a story that is amazing, that has the twists, the turns, the journey, right? And once you read it, you're not putting it down.
For sure.
You're not putting it down, bro. It's very, very engaging. You know what I mean? You listen to your work. Like literally, I was I was in the truck. I always like to turn my music way up
For sure.
so I can hear everything. And I'm listening and I'm seeing these dips. Like you say, I didn't realize you were a drummer. Now that it makes sense
Mhm.
because the way you speed up, slow down, and then you just go into some Spanish, and that's hot. Then you come right back, you bilingual. So then I thought you was Dominican. I said, yo, he must be
Yeah.
Dominican. I said, he went into his Spanish too fly. Your joint was cool. I said, yo, he got to be Dominican. But then I was like, then he just came right back. Then I was like, yo, he with us. And then he went to Dominican Republic. He came right back.
He said,
I know.
Yeah, I speak like Central American Spanish.
Right,
so
right,
it's
right.
like I studied abroad in Costa Rica.
Okay.
I majored in Spanish literature,
Okay.
taught Spanish, but I got the orphan Spanish because it's like when I'm around Mexicans, they're like, oh, you sound Salvador or you sound Guatemalan or something.
Right.
If I'm around Dominicans, they're like, you sound Mexican,
Right.
you know. And
You can't get it right.
only one person, and I think this professor I had my last year was like one of the last classes I had to take.
What school were you at?
UCLA.
At UCLA.
I went to
okay.
UCLA.
Yeah.
So I think he was mad because, you know, I turned in one version of a paper, and the paper was I hadn't finished the reading, so I bullshit a little bit.
Right.
He called me on it, right?
Okay.
He wrote on the first draft rewrite. I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh,
right.
damn.
He was like, you got to rewrite this. So I go in and I write my ass off, right? I do the reading. I buckle down, I bite down, do the reading, write the paper. It's a 12-page paper. It's immaculate. I know it is when I turn it in. Like, okay. You know, and so I handed it to him. He said, come see me. Right.
Uh-oh.
So he basically was like, who wrote this? I was like, I wrote this, like, you know, and he's from Spain.
Right.
So the professors, you know, I've been to Spain and it's love in Spain, but sometimes the Spanish academic community, because you're around a lot of Central American and South American people, there's this air of superiority. And he just had that, like, I've heard you speak Spanish, you speak like the Mexicans. And he's like, so this, you couldn't have written this. I was like, I was like, yo lo escribí. Yo sí usé un tesauro, pero yo lo escribí sin ayuda de ninguna persona, right? So I wrote it.
Right.
Yeah, I used a thesaurus. You know what I'm saying? Like I might have been in my research bag.
I went in my bag, dog.
But I wrote it. And bro, so he was the only person in the history of my Spanish education. Well, minus my high school Spanish teacher, he gave me the only B I got in all of high school. Like
what?
I got all
and you
A's.
Was hot too.
What?
Well, you was hot.
What? And my thing is, well, he wasn't the only person to give me a B. He was the only person to get away with it staying a B. Because the first, my 10th grade year, a couple teachers didn't know who I was and what I was about, and they was disorganized. And so they gave me a B, and I got on them like, I did not earn a B. Show me how it's supposed to be a B. And
look at the work.
And then so they was like, oh, my bad, I just got A, right? Because my parents came up like, look at his transcripts, you slipping. Like, he don't get Bs, and they was on him, right? So then the Spanish teacher gave me a B second semester and went to motherfucking Spain for the whole summer. So the little deadline,
couldn't get to him.
And then he was
it
only...
It would have been funny if you would have showed up there, hey,
in
look,
Madrid.
Man,
like, hey, tú no me puedes escapar. Yo voy a recibir mi A como lo quiero. But he gave me, and his name is Dr. Decker. He was old as heck. So he may no longer be with us. I don't know, but shout out to Dr. Decker. Perhaps rest in peace, Dr. Decker. But I hope not.
I hope not. But what he did though, man, he made you step your game up.
He did. Well, he made me not take Spanish 4 at Inglewood because he was the only one offering it.
Right.
I was like, I'm not fucking with you no more. You know? But once I got to UCLA, I was on it because since I was a kid, you know, growing up in LA, a lot of my friends were like, you know what I'm saying? They would just go into Spanish around me. And I'm not one to just be left out and lost. So I'm like, even back then, I was like, I'm about to learn this.
Yeah, I want to know what they're saying.
For sure.
But the funny thing, this ever happened to you, when I speak Spanish to people that are Latin, they speak English. They never, I'll be like, I say, buenos dias, señorita. And they're like, good morning. Like, I'll be like, am I wrong? I'm like, are they mad at me for trying to speak Spanish?
I mean, think of it. It's similar to being black and wanting to prove to somebody, or not needing to prove, but just like, you know, when somebody treats you like you just a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, hold on, you don't know. No. Like even Erykah Badu said, you know, make $1 million, make $1 million more. First class lady treat you like a nigga poor, right? So in the same sense, they're so accustomed to speaking Spanish to them, meaning that somebody's assumed that they're to help or something. Like,
right.
Hola, ¿me puedes ayudar con eso? Disculpe, necesito más servilletas. I need more than that. Right? So they don't expect you to be like, hola, estoy pensando de invertir mi dinero en otro. You know, I'm thinking about investing my money in this and that. You know, right. They don't think that the conversation could be one of respect.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
equal
thinking
playing
I'm
field.
trying to do. And as I'm learning Spanish, like I want to be bilingual. Like I admire that quality that you're able to just go into it and you know it fluently like that,
Absolutely.
right? And I think even with my kids, I want them to be fluent, but you got to practice
for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And the thing that I liked about in your raps though, the rhythm is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's still music.
Yeah, I don't rap like Latin rappers.
Right.
That I know.
Right.
That I know. It's these black raps in Spanish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You getting these black raps in Spanish. Yeah.
So if you were to look back at yourself, say if you could be here and you looking at D.Smoke and where you are right now, how do you feel about what you see?
I'm proud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud. You know what I'm saying? Very few people can just be like, if it ended today, what's the legacy? You know what I'm saying? They don't want, you know, and I don't like even speaking like this, but they don't want me to end early because it's a lot of incredible music that I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? That legacy, right? I think, like, I'm a huge fan of the man that Nipsey Hussle was. I studied Nip.
Come on.
You know, I used to work across the street from his shop.
Wow.
You know, I was taught at View Park High School, so I've walked to his shop to buy his clothes and this and that and the other. And I'm an Inglewood dude, and I swear the neighborhoods, I swear they could smell it on you. Like the look they give you, like, you're not from around here.
Right.
But even in my suit and tie, I'm in teacher attire, but I was getting looked at like, they like, all right, I guess we're gonna give him a pass. He working, right?
Right.
So, but I've took them dangerous little trips across the street in the heart of the Crenshaw district,
Right.
and I was very aware of what he was doing and his whole
In his heart.
organization, how he hired his homies. They at the desk. You know what I'm saying? He got security in the lot. He got his mixtape. He got the T-shirts and clothes. He got the weed shop down the street. And so I'm a huge fan of who he was, how he moved as a general, as a scholar, you know, his own scholar, not necessarily in, you know, schools like me, but
his
but I feel like
intelligence was scholarly.
was-
you know what I'm
was
saying? I mean, the brother
immaculate.
was immaculate. Like,
absolutely.
I literally had an interview with another artist about Nipsey Hussle, and I felt cheated because I was getting to know him
Mhm.
through his music. You know, I wanted to meet him through his music because I was hearing his music in different pockets when I'm on tour, right? And I'm in a club or something like, yo, who that? They like, yo, that's Nip.
Mhm.
Oh, boom, 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 that's Nip. I'm like, he was featuring it, then it was his song, and he'd jump on with other cats.
For
And
sure.
then literally right after that, Victory Lap came out. Like, so I'm getting on the train and I'm riding, and then Victory Lap, and then whatever.
Right.
But along that way, he was dropping so much knowledge,
For sure.
and he was explaining like life in a way that hip hop could accept it.
Absolutely.
Like, he was speaking to people, not down to people, and I felt like he was a man of the people.
Absolutely.
That's what I like.
I feel like Nip's like Victory Lap was the first of like 3 or so projects that led us to see exactly how brilliant he was.
Yeah.
I think his interviews speak a lot more to the mind and the human being that he was.
Right.
Whereas the music still, I think the music was proven that people as brilliant as him come from places as crazy as this.
Absolutely.
And I would venture to say that as the crazier the environment, the higher the possibility of how genius somebody can be,
Yeah.
because privilege never really produced
Not
artistic
like adversity.
genius. You know, no. Ground Zero made more. What is that quote? Ground Zero made more superstars than Silver
Bro.
Spoon ever did.
Absolutely.
You know, and the dilemma for a lot of successful people is, how do I design challenges for my kids so that they can still learn the values that my environment taught me, right? Because our environment, I don't want the environment for my kids to be the same as mine, but they might
Well,
have
let's
to see
get them lessons though.
Oh yeah, they might have to see a boxing gym too.
Yeah.
They might have to go to the park to ball. You know, with
glass in it.
glass.
Like, you got to do
Barefoot in
crossover on
there.
glass. You got to be able to, you know, with my son, you know, I'm gonna give you an example. You know, I grew up like you know what I'm saying, where I was in and out of different worlds of, you know, adversity, different families. You know, I came from a predominantly Black neighborhood. You know, we had a lot of Spanish people there as well back east, and you know, it was no real sort of like, oh my God, you can get out of here. I just thought that was y'all world for a second. But that adversity gave me so many little tools, bro. Like, literally, man, I feel like a Swiss Army knife. And a lot of times in life, you have to have a tool set to get through certain things. You need a screwdriver. You need some pliers. You need some wire cutters. You know, there's things that you will need.
A chainsaw.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you need a sledgehammer.
For sure.
For real. So that adversity that you and I seem to, you know, really resonate with is not, everyone doesn't get it.
For sure.
And a lot of times we look back and go, oh man, I can't believe I had to go through that. But then it makes you who you are.
The training grounds.
Yeah.
It's the training
and
grounds.
all that, the gospel, the adversity, the intelligence, going to school, wanting to give back to the community, doing that, leaving your imprint, bam, bam, in all these different circles made you this artist.
Absolutely.
So I don't even look at you as a rapper to me. I just feel like you are an artist with unlimited talent.
Appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to get like you, man. I've been in, you know, dabbling in acting again.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in high school, I acted a lot. I was on like television a lot, like Judging Amy, CSI,
Right.
The District, Boston Public, and I did this movie in Canada called Our America. And so, but when I got to college, they were sending me out for a lot of Disney stuff.
Oh, they wanted to make
And
you
I
cute.
was like, man,
You was like, everything was a
I'm
smile.
not booking
Hi,
none of
guys.
that. I'm not booking none of that. I'm walking in and I'm seeing the casting directors look at me like, that's not you, bro.
No.
And I'm trying to tell, so basically my workload was so heavy at school that I was like, man, y'all stop sending me on auditions altogether.
Because you don't have time.
Period. And so I was like, I'm gonna graduate. My manager at the time was like, look, you've booked like 8 things in 2 years. That's massive that's a great rate of work.
It's hard to do. It's a great rate.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, you don't know your trajectory is right for a great career in this. Don't stop now. And I was like, I choose school, right? Because I'm the first. This is something I always saw myself doing. I'm going to do it. And so long story short, after Rhythm and Flow, Tasha Smith, the actress who got me into.
Yeah, we love Tasha.
Loved one. You know, that's
She's
my heart.
Wonderful person.
Incredible human being. So she hit me like, and bro, we gonna get you back home, you know. And lo and behold, she's directing an episode of Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount Plus. And she's like, hey, I think I got something for you. It's this kid named Raphael. He's in the jail. He's fighting. You know what I'm saying? But he got a lot of heart. He shows signs of leadership, but he's the second in command with promise to be first in command. And so she brought me on that one episode, and the way like Hugh Dillon and then work, because they wrote and directed, created Yellowstone too, one of the biggest shows on television.
Oh man, I love Yellowstone.
Yeah, so the way they work, they're writing as they go, so they're sensitive to who these characters are, what's their energy on. And
they need an authentic person to bring that to life.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And then of course they're leaning heavily into Jeremy Renner, who's incredible.
Yes.
And so but once I got on set, then they was like, oh yeah, we got more for this kid.
Yeah,
so
bro, ain't nobody turning you down, bro. Let me tell you, if they get a little bit, that's why I said earlier in the interview, I was like, yo, if you in the cypher, you gotta put your seatbelt on. Like I'm saying, like you're one of them cats. Like if I play ball, right? Mm-hmm. If you come on the gym and you got your sneakers on your shoulder like this,
tied together.
Yo, I gotta tie my stuff tight because it's gonna be some ankles broken here. It's gonna be a dunk because you like Ja Morant when it comes to these lyrics and your passion for your music. Sure. And I use Ja because I feel like Ja's game is so much love for the game. You know what I mean?
So
and the competitive, so raw. And it's very rare that you see people that have that energy. And it was in Tupac. You know what I mean? Just to give you an example, what I'm talking about, where it's raw passion for what it is they are doing. They're purposeful. They love what they're doing, but they want this thing bad, whatever it is. I feel like that's what you have. And it's not like you're screaming. You don't have to. Your words, your music scream for you. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about your artistry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did I get it?
Appreciate it.
Did he have impact on me? Come on, let me give you a Come on, D.Smoke. I might have to like help you go on a promotional tour for this.
Come on, man.
Listen.
So yeah, man. So I did seven episodes on season 2.
Season 2.
I plan on being back for season 3 of
Let's go.
Kingstown. And so that's something that's I'm excited about. I got an album that's finished that we're mixing, so next year is about me tying it all together, right? The album, how does that? I hope to get, they synced one of my songs from my last album on Mayor of Kingstown.
I was getting ready to ask you,
we had that conversation.
Get him something to have that in on this.
Oh, for sure.
Come on,
for sure. We're going to have a private listening session to be like, where this works.
Where y'all want this at?
Come on. It's there. It's there.
Parlay, we call that parlaying.
For sure. Uh-huh. And then I wrote a book as well, and so
tell us about the book. Tell us the title.
Well, first, the title is called Vivid Isaiah. Mm-hmm. So Vivid Isaiah, it's borrowed from my personal life. So if you read the book, you'll see that Isaiah is a fictional version of Daniel Ferris at Inglewood High School, D.Smoke at Inglewood High School.
Okay.
And the basic premise is that Isaiah is a kid with a vivid imagination. Mm-hmm. And he, in his own time, he's already teetering between what's happening in his mind. It's so vivid that he the lines blur between what happens in his imagination and what happens in Inglewood.
Wow.
But on his first day of high school, he has an encounter with some gang members on a bus, and this is stuff that I remember happening. Like you on the 115, going down Manchester.
Uh-oh.
And the crazy part about, if you know LA, the crazy part about the 115 is it's the same bus to get all the Bloods to and from Inglewood, but all the kids going to Westchester, right?
Right.
And Westchester, somehow, it being so far from the 6-0s, and, you know, if you don't know gang, you know, this stuff, you're going to get a little less. It's so far from that actual neighborhood, but you got a lot of Crips at Westchester. So the Bloods would get on tripping, right? Get on the bus tripping. And I'm from Inglewood, so most of the time, I would just be like spectating. They see me at the school, so they walk past me, but they sweating everybody. So in Vivid Isaiah, his first day of school, the Bloods get on the bus, sweating everybody. And then there's this homeless man, and they start to humiliate him. They're like, oh, he stink. They pour water all over him, like, ugh, take a bath, you know? And then the homeless man's just sitting there taking it. And Isaiah's bothered. Like, he's like, this ain't right. But I'm a ninth grader. What am I going to say to these dudes? And then one of the little underlings, you know, it's always the leader gang member and the little minions, you know,
minions.
like, blood, pour some Coke on him, pour some Coke on the cokehead, hand him a soda. And I think for Isaiah, that was like, I can't let this happen.
That's too
so
far.
He steps in and he's like, and I'm probably telling too much, but it's okay.
It's all right.
He steps in and he's like, hey, bro, that's enough, you know? And the gang leader was like, what? Somebody, you know? And I've seen this happen in Inglewood too. Like, there's a little bit of respect right there that somebody will actually challenge you. So you look like, okay.
Is that your uncle?
But you know what I'm saying? But it's like, but I can't let it slide. So Isaiah gets humiliated. I ain't gonna say how.
Right.
But because of his bravery, he gets that homeless man turned out to be a representative from this other realm, you know, and so he gets an invitation to this other world. And gangster. So he, you know, of course, accepts the invitation, and the rest of the story is him balancing between this parallel universe and coming back to Inglewood, where it's real hood. You know what I'm saying?
That's a movie, bro.
Oh,
Stop playing. That's like
we going up.
Yeah.
But I wrote it. Hey, appreciate that. So I mean, a lot of people don't know, like, one of the books that I would say changed my life was The Alchemist, right? And I've read it at least 20 times, at least, right? And the first time I read it was in 2015, and so what ended up happening is that it became that audiobook I would just put on to zone out. When I was on Rhythm and Flow, I wasn't in none of the little social circles backstage. They was battle rapping the whole time. I was in my zone, right?
In your zone.
And so, but what I love about it is that it captures so many gems, so many life lessons and principles, and so many quotes and spiritual principles. And when I read it, I was like, dang, as an educator, I can appreciate this. As somebody that's already pursuing my dreams and goals, I can appreciate this. But is this in the language of the youngsters that need it the most, right? And so that's the challenge of rap. Yeah. Like, I don't want to preach to the crowd. I could easily just be pure conscious, right? But to dig deep and actually take somebody that's from a place where they don't believe in themselves, they don't see no hope, and they don't give a fuck, and then take them into a world where it's like, oh shoot, I see myself in a different light and from another perspective. You got to show a little bit of the part of you that questioned you or fucked up or don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to see that. They got to see it and feel it. The contrast. So when I wrote the book, it was like, how can I capture all those same spiritual guiding principles and perspectives while telling the story, because it don't feel like it's just easy to read. The book reads itself. Wow. Like, I think when people pick it up, they won't put it down and they're going to share it with everybody. It's going to take on a life of its own.
Come on, man.
So,
damn,
excited
you know
about
it. Saying? You got author, artist, composer, drummer.
He said drummer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's
not around drummers. I ain't a drummer around drummers. I'm a drummer in my space.
But you can drum.
I can drum, and I can hold a beat.
And let's give a shout out to your brother, Sir, man.
Big love.
I love seeing, you know, you guys have your, you know, obviously your chemistry and stuff, and you seem to want to work together whenever you can. You know, how did you guys say, yo, man, let's just do our music together? So we were signed as early as like 10, 11, and 12. Like, we were signed to DreamWorks Records under Gerald Busby, rest in peace. He also was head of he was the president of Motown at one point.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I know Gerald.
And he was instrumental in Boyz II Men's career and all. So, incredible dude. and he believed in us. Like he really, really had our back, and we were at Randy Gill's house getting voice lessons, Johnny Gill's brother, and in the studio. Next door to like Brandy and Ray J in the studio, like we were being groomed, and he got sick and passed. We got dropped and had a normal childhood, thank God, you know. And so, but it's always been the Ferris brothers working on music together. It just took different forms. When I was 13, my uncle dropped off a whole studio setup because he was like, I'm getting all new shit. And so he gave us an MPC computer. I'm talking about, he gave us 10 grand worth of shit.
Stop.
And I promise you, we destroyed it. But it was our, I'm talking about the speakers, we blew them out. like the computer, we was saving all the shit to the computer. So
and the computer just crashed.
It's like he was trying to teach us, but we learned on that. But it wasn't that everything went out at the same time. We replaced it, this, that, and the other, and we stayed doing it. So to this day, all three of us can engineer ourselves. With whatever you hear on Sir's project, he mixed. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you hear on my project, I recorded my vocals.
Wow.
Davion, the same thing. So it was never like, it's you and me, now let's get together. It's like, that's how we came up. But when Sir, you know, we just had a long journey. You know, I got on at 33. You know what I'm saying? Sir got on in his late 20s, and we had hard times, like sleeping on blow-up beds at my storefront. Like, I'm upstairs, you on a blow-up bed with your wife. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
grinding
and staying down, you know? And so when he got signed to TDE, he was like, I was like, bro, I looked him in his eyes like, look, bro, this is yours. Don't feel obligated to put nobody on. Kick the motherfucking door open. Do you? I was in the classroom. I knew how to pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing drums at the church, teaching, and still putting out content and still doing events for local artists. Like, still working with like Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper, then pulled up to my like local stuff. Alex Isley, Kenyon Dix. So we was in the community because I'd also, mind you, written songs for other artists. I had an ASCAP award with Jaheim and stuff. So best advice I could give Daryl was like, this is you. And Sir is Daryl. And he did exactly that. Like, and even when I did come around, like, is it time? Can I get that feature? He was like,
can I get that feature though?
What's up?
You know we family.
He was like, he said, of course you can.
Yes.
But at this point in time, it's not gonna do nothing for you. Like, and I didn't understand, because from our perspective, you get signed to TDE, you own, right? But it's levels to everything, you know. He showed me there was a group text with everybody on there from Dot to Absol, you know, to Schoolboy,
right.
You know, everybody was on there, you know. And he said, "Hey, y'all, I got this show coming up," you know, because when they first signed him, it's like, we want you to look independent. We'll support on the back end. Right. We want the story to read.
Be independent.
Sir comes out of nowhere, bust. Then he signs to TDE when we already signed you.
Right.
Right. So he's still doing shows at very small venues. So he hits Dot and them like, hey man, I got the show over here at this little venue on boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. If y'all available, you know, y'all pull up.
Pull up. These
niggas held no punches. Like, nigga, what the fuck I look like pulling up over there? Like, they gave him the little homie treatment. He showed it to me like, these niggas clowning right now, right? Because we're still roommates. And so
I love these stories.
But the beauty of it is, like, I got to see what it really looked like. Man. Nobody sees that. Nobody sees the actual journey of it. You know, we opened up for Kendrick long before Sir got signed to TDE at Whiskey A Go-Go, when Kendrick was doing shows in front of 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To us, that was huge because it was packed out, it was bursting at the seams, but it was 1,000. Kendrick performed in front of 60,000 and numbers just crazy. Like Beyonce brought Dot out. You know what I'm saying? So, that Sir getting signed, the better, instead of him giving me a feature, the best thing he did was like,
give you the game.
Come on tour with me. He took me on tour when he was opening up for Miguel. So I'm talking about we the opening act, carrying the keyboards. I'm playing keys behind him. Right. My dumb ass brought an 88 key weighted Yamaha Motif ES8. And I'm talking about the heaviest keyboard. And when you
known to man.
And when you And when you travel that many cities, you have to have a hard case. The case is heavier than the keyboard because it got the metal all around
You're
it.
probably walking around with
a 100-pound one side dumbbell. Like
one side of your body more built than the other.
Bro,
you're carrying this
halfway, you gotta set it down.
Like, your one shoulder big as hell, bro.
Nigga, no, you gotta set it down, step over that bitch, and grab it on the other side. Halfway to going backstage, like,
shit.
And it was regular.
Yes.
And I had 2 keyboards, because I had one playing one side and one on the other. 34 cities, pure game. I never tripped on playing my own music, none of that. I was like, it's the Sir Show. We had one argument, one good one too, where I'm on the road driving a Sprinter van through Texas, and he snapped on me, I snapped back, and I was like, fuck it, when we stopped, we all catching head up fades.
Right.
And we left it at that. We didn't end up fighting, but it was just like one of those, like,
it's just road stuff.
Bro.
Frustration, hungry, sleepy.
Other than that, we was good. And by the end of it, the people from TDE staff, they did ask, like, okay, well, we know who's who in here. Like, let me hear some of your music, Smoke. So Matthew. So Matt Miller, he's driving. He like, Smoke, let me hear it. So he was the first person to go to Brandon from TDE, Top from TDE, and be like, Smoke is hard. And he's doing this thing where he's English and Spanish. It's different. It's tight. So he was my advocate. I went to them. I went to TDE like before I did Rhythm and Flow and was like, look, it's the show. I don't know what it's going to be. Like, and I don't want to take a risk of it being a clown show and I'm mixed in with it, because once you sign and show up, you can't be like, I want all my footage taken out. It's non-optional. No. So I was like, if y'all want to rock with me, I'm not going to do the show, because it's a gamble. It's a roll of the dice. They was like, man, do the show, see what it's about,
Went on there and wore their ass out.
Nigga. I was in pure war mode. But it's like, that show is like, it'll test who you are.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I like about it.
It was dope rappers.
Dope. Everybody was
backstage,
dope.
Backstage, they was murderers.
Katz was
nervous.
Good, bro. Like you, and I love competition in this regard. It brings out the best.
For sure.
And the cream will rise to the top.
For sure.
And you have every adversity, every obstacle that you've come upon, you rise above that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the sky's the limit for you. And I'm honored to have you on Top Billing because you are what my show is about. You Top Billing. Ladies and gentlemen, D.Smoke in the building. This is how we do. This is how we do. You got to make sure this guy is in your playlist. Make sure you are watching him on Mayor of Kingstown, right? Yep. Make sure anything he do, D.Smoke, is official. We are tapped in only on Top Billing, baby, the #1 podcast for the culture, the movement, and the discussion.